What up, NYC? How are my radio peeps in the city? How's my TV crew? How y'all living, fam? It has been a minute since NYC got to lead this program, but there is some huge news today. Come on, Alvin. Old school me. Dude, am I pulling teeth all day long with you? Already, Alvin. Come on, man. Huge news, at least for Yankee fan, because it got to be a real touch-and-go situation over the past 24 hours, didn't it, Yankee fan? In fact, it looked for a moment like Aaron Judge was actually gonzo, like he was a goner, because there was a since-deleted tweet from John Heyman last night that sent Twitter into an absolute mouth-foaming frenzy. The tweet read, and I quote, "Arson Judge appears headed to the Giants." End of tweet. No, I did not misspeak, nor did I misread that, nor did I misremember. That was the exact tweet. Quote, "Arson Judge appears headed to the Giants." And that sent social media wild for a couple of pretty obvious reasons. Number one, it seemed like enormous news. Number two, well, because of Arson Judge. Turns out Arson Judge apparently is not Aaron Judge. They're different dudes. Arson Judge is some other cat who appears to be headed to the Giants because Aaron Judge is not going there. Maybe Arson is, but Aaron is staying put. Aaron, officially this morning, is still a member of the Yankees. My dude, the immensely talented John Morosi, broke the Aaron Judge news earlier today, and my initial response was the only reasonable response to a story like that. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, big news, right? But the real juicy part of this story, of course, is the terms. Because you have to remember how, in fact, we got here in the first place. Because the Yankees lowballed the hell out of Arson last offseason. And then Judge turned around and jammed it up their backside when he had the single greatest contract season in the history of sports. That was the single greatest FU tour to a front office that we have ever seen. The Yankees' final offer comes in at a reported 8 years, 200. No, actually, check that. Their initial final offer was 8 years, 230, or 8 years, 212, or 8 years, 213 and a half. Regardless, somewhere in that low ball area. I've seen a number of numbers. However, the final deal comes in 9 years, 360 mil. So what we're talking about here is an added year and somewhere upwards of 130 mil or even more than that. Is that any good? The initial offer would have paid him around, I don't know, depending on the number you believe again, 29 mil per, which would have made Judge the 18th highest paid player in baseball. So you've got one of the biggest stars on the biggest franchise in the sport, and they're offering this guy, a homegrown guy, a guy who will end up in the Hall of Fame and maybe with a monument. They were offering to make him the 18th highest paid player in Major League Baseball. So, of course, he did what he did. He didn't even counter. He just said, no, I'm good.
No.
So the final offer, the one he did agree upon, is going to pay him 40 mil per and make him the highest paid position player in the history of the sport. That outrageous season that he just had made him about 10 or 11 mil more per year for the next 9 years. Again, is that any good? Again, have you ever seen a guy make a bigger bet on himself and cash a bigger ticket? The ultimate bet on himself. My man is sprinting to the window right now with that winning ticket to cash it. And apparently, incredibly, he could have gotten even more. Because according to another Morosi tweet this morning, quote, indications are Aaron Judge turned down higher offers elsewhere because he wanted to remain a Yankee. The all-time AL home run king is staying in the Bronx. End of quote. So essentially, Judge cashed the ultimate bet on himself, and he also saved the Yankees from themselves in this process. He carried them on his back all summer long when he could have been really bitter about how they handled it. But that's not what he did. Carries them on his back all summer long, and now he's saved their asses from the worst optics of all time. Because let's face it, the Yankees had to get this deal done. The Yankees could not let one of the single biggest stars in the sport, a homegrown superstar, the consummate Yankee who just hit 62 bombs, to become the AL home run king. The Yankees could not let that dude walk. That franchise could not have that player go to another franchise, nor could they have their consummate, homegrown, historic Yankee superstar choose the Giants or the Padres over the Yankees in the midst of his prime. Can you imagine? You want to talk optics. One thing to let this guy get away. One thing to let this guy get away to the Padres, who took a big swing, the Giants, where he's a California native. I mean, that's all bad enough, as much as I like those two franchises. But can you imagine if they let this guy get away and Judge walked 2 days after Brian Cashman was extended? I mean, don't get me wrong. We all know how important it is to make sure that Cashman is taken care of. We all know that Cashman is the number one priority in the Bronx. Everybody understands that. Never mind the fact that he has produced one championship in the last 2 decades. Never mind the fact that he butchered the hell out of this negotiation with the team's most important player since number 2. Forget that Cashman and the Yankees just played themselves and got absolutely owned by Judge. I mean, again, the hell were they even thinking in the first place in lowballing this dude and then making it even worse by leaking those numbers to cover their own ass and make Judge look even worse? Has a negotiation between an elite franchise and one of its most important players ever, a homegrown future Hall of Famer, ever been handled worse than the way the Yankees handled that initially? So no credit for getting this deal done. You did what you had to do, but didn't do what you should have done so much sooner. You're just lucky that this is a stand-up dude who saved you from yourselves and didn't jam you like so many others would have. And as far as Cashman goes, you imagine they sign up Cash for 4 more years and then Judge could have walked 48 hours later? Would have been a total disaster. Basically would have been like taking a flamethrower to the Yankee brand. As bulletproof as that Yankee brand is, that would have done some irreparable damage to that same brand. That would have left a hell of a mark. No way you live that down. We let homegrown Aaron Judge, who just hit 62 bombs, get away. But it's all good, Yankee fan, because we signed homegrown Brian Cashman instead. So in a way, that John Heyman tweet was actually almost accurate. Judge choosing the Giants would have made him Arson Judge. But instead, Aaron Judge decided to take less and save the Yankees from themselves. Man, they are lucky. Never has anybody been so lucky to overpay and guarantee a guy so much money as they are. So now that he's making that kind of money, Garrett Cole is no longer the highest paid bomber. No one asked him his thoughts on Judge's new deal, but I am sure that Cole would have waxed on effusively if they did. I'm actually still conflicted about this dude, honestly. He's either the greatest dude ever or the dumbest dude ever. Like, I want to hype this guy so badly, but the urge to clown him is way stronger. I mean, the cat was holding 7 figures in his hand and just gave it back. Like, didn't have somebody mug him and rip it out of his hand. Willfully gave it back. But somehow that dude gets how important Judge is, even more so than the Yankees do. Can't take that away from that guy. He seems to understand better than Cashman or Hal Steinbrenner or anybody else in that organization. Frankly, they ought to give Kessler a job.
Any way I could give back to Judge, give him some.
That dude may have just thrown away a 7-figure lottery ticket, but he never would have been stupid enough to let Aaron Judge walk while the Yankees damn near did it themselves. Again, they're really lucky that Aaron Judge is as good of a dude as he is, as good of a leader as he is, as good of a Yankee as he is. And that he did not go arson Judge on Cashman and the organization and light them on fire. Once again, I got to give it to him. I have never seen a dude cash as big of a bet on himself as Aaron Judge just did. Nor have I seen a team play themselves as badly as the Yankees just did. So, props to Judge and no credit to the Yankees for doing what they had to do and not doing what they should have done so much sooner. Oh, Frisco fan.
Hey, Frisco fan.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Frisco
Hey,
fan.
Frisco fan. Oh, so close. Hey, Frisco fan.
Hey, Frisco fan.
This close to reliving the Barry Bonds days, brah. Minus the roids and the cloud hovering over your head. You were this close to having arson in the middle of your lineup, dude. Hey, Frisco fan, back to the drawing board. When the next available 60-plus home run masher comes clear and hits the market, I'm sure he's all yours, Frisco fan. Hey, Frisco fan. Sorry about that. So close.